What's up everyone, it's Bran here from Bloody Breakdown, and today we're gonna have a bit of a Halloween Kills and even slash Halloween Ends update. Now, recently Jamie Lee Curtis was at the Saturn Awards as she was accepting an award for Best Actress for, lo and behold, Halloween 2018, which in my opinion she definitely deserves, when she was asked a couple of questions about the upcoming Halloween movies and Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, and she gave some pretty interesting answers as to maybe some things we can look forward to seeing, maybe some overall themes as far as the next two Halloween films go. Now, she did start off talking about, as she did at length when she was promoting Halloween 2018. I think if you watched anything where she did any kind of interviews, you know you heard one word, and that word was trauma. She was interested in exploring the trauma of Laurie Strode's character 40 years after 1978 and the events of the original film. But after she talked a little bit about that, she got into what we can expect from Halloween Kills, and I've got her direct quote here. She says, "What I love that David and Danny and company did is they connected the dots for 40 years. Now they're going back to really unpack the first movie, bringing back all those characters whose lives were affected by what happened in 1978. So a lot of people heard this, and I saw, I've seen a couple of other people cover this, and they thought that what she meant by this is they're going to unpack the 2018 film. And I don't think that's what she's going for here. I think when she says the original film, she literally means the original film, the 1978 film. And they are going to do some unpacking of that. There's a little more freedom now that you're not making a direct sequel to the 1978 John Carpenter classic. You're making a sequel to the 2018 sequel to Halloween. So there's a little bit more wiggle room, so to speak, here. And I think that what she's talking about, all the different, we have kind of explored the trauma, so to speak, that Laurie Strode's character has went through over the last 40 years, and I'm sure there'll be more to come in Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. New things, old things, and with all of these old characters, like she said, coming back, Tommy Doyle, Lindsay Wallace, you think about those two, they were children in this movie, and they ran up on the Shape. Now, granted, they didn't have the altercation that Laurie had with them, but could you imagine, put this in a real-life scenario, some guy, some mental patient escapes the asylum and comes after the townspeople, and you're in his direct line of vision, and you encounter him, and you luckily get away with your life, which, I don't know, maybe luckily, I don't know. Does Michael kill kids? I mean, definitely not in this timeline, I don't believe. But, how would that affect you as an adolescent, as a, what were they, 8, 9, 10 years old in this movie? The 78 I speak of. How does that affect you going forward psychologically? So yeah, there's definitely some room to jump into that as far as Tommy and Lindsay go. Now, Lonnie Elam, I don't know. He really didn't run up on the Shape, but maybe Dr. Loomis petrified him when he told him to get his ass away from there, and he really believes the house is haunted now and it fucked him up. I don't know. I'm just theorizing / joshing. But it'll be interesting to see how his character develops in this one as well. And then you've got the rumors about Charles Cyphers. And I would love to see him in this. Now, granted, it's not been confirmed yet, but can you think about the evolution of his character, losing his daughter in the original film? We saw him in the second film, even though it's not canon anymore in this particular series, this universe, so to speak. But you kind of got a glimpse of what it was like. He had just a mental breakdown, and that could be the same scenario here. I mean, losing your daughter to such just abhorrent circumstances, that's got to weigh pretty heavy on you. And 40 years later, I imagine he's probably not the best person to be around. But who knows? There's some very interesting avenues that they can take in this film, and that's what I'm really interested to see. She goes on to say, and then the last movie, aka Halloween Ends, is the sort of cultural phenomenon of violence. That's what the third movie ultimately is, a very powerful examination of violence. It comes from a slightly different way. You'll like it. If you believe me at all, I promise you what David Gordon Green has come up with as a way to complete this trilogy is sensational. And yeah, that's definitely another avenue to go down. I think with especially the rash of mass shootings that we do live in, and that's just a part of it, even though it's a large part of it. It's a pretty violent country that we live in on the whole, a pretty violent world that we live in, so to speak. And yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with them touching on things like trauma or violence as a society. I don't have a problem with that at all. I think as long as you keep it within the realm of, here's the movie, here's what we're presenting to you, oh, and here's this social commentary. Like, if you look at Night of the Living Dead, I think they did a really good job of introducing some social commentary into the film while not taking away from what the film is and is supposed to be to begin with. And if they can do it like that, I have absolutely no issue with them doing that at all whatsoever. I don't mind tackling real world issues. I like being challenged, not only just by gore and suspense, but I also like being challenged by real world things. I like being challenged. For example, I'm not a big fan of watching any kind of rape scenes in movies. It's not my thing. I don't like it. But I watch it because I enjoy being challenged. Because I enjoy being able to challenge myself, being able to see things from all different types of perspectives, and know that there are things out there that aren't very savory, that are just as much a part of life as any of the good things that are out there. So I'm fine with that as long as it's done in the right context, I believe. But yeah, I guess that's for Halloween Ends. So basically what we're looking at to sum all this up, it looks as if Halloween Kills is going to be focusing on a lot of these other characters, their trauma, continuing on basically what we'd seen from 2018 as well. And Halloween Ends, it looks like we're going to be dealing with the social issue of violence. So yeah, I mean, thinking about it, if there's, in terms of a trilogy, which is what they're saying this is now, it's the Blumhouse Halloween Laurie Strode trilogy, whatever you want to call it. I assume that things are going to be pretty bleak in Halloween Kills because it's the second act, and that's generally how things go in trilogies. I know there are some exceptions, but generally speaking, that's how things are quote-unquote supposed to go. So, yeah, and then Halloween Ends, you'll get your, I guess, vindication and closure, so to speak. So, yeah, it's just a couple of quotes, but I think you can read into a lot based on what she's saying here. And also, maybe take it with a grain of salt. She's not the director. This isn't her vision. She's simply an actress in the film, but I imagine being the big name she is in Hollywood and being the big name she is in this franchise, she's probably privy to that information. I mean, she went around promoting Halloween H2O, saying a lot of it was about Laurie Strode's trauma, and a lot of it was about Laurie Strode's trauma over the last 40 years. So, take it however you want to, but I'd say she has a pretty good track record with this thus far. Now, I think that's going to do it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed, leave me a thumbs up, subscribe, and ring that notification bell if you're new here. That way, you'll never miss me go live or an upload here at Bloody Breakdown. Also, leave me a comment. What do you guys think about this news? How are you deciphering it? And what are you thinking about the upcoming Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends films in general? And definitely check down below in the description section where you'll see a couple of links where you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, join the Facebook group, or even support my work on Patreon. And here's a quick little video explaining how to support my work and what you get for supporting my work. Become a patron of the channel at the Patreon link below. You can make a one-time or a monthly contribution. Simply select a tier of $1, $5, or $10 and unlock the perks that come with your tier of choice. Perks range from early access of videos to your name in the credits listed as a producer. And with that said, I'm Bran from Bloody Breakdown. We'll catch you next time.